Hey guys, welcome back on the Dark Vanities. I am Matteo Camarda. Sorry for the light here. It's summer. It's almost summer here in Italy, and it's too hot, so I need to wear like this. I don't have an elegant outfit today, and the the curtains are all closed, so you need to understand my position here, okay? So, finally we are here because we have the Fujifilm XE5, which has been released 2 days ago, exactly on June 12th, okay? Thursday. So, as I previewed in my last video, I predicted many of the features of this XE5 are like the XT50, they're like copy pasted, okay? So my honest opinion is that the camera is interesting, and my first impression is really positive. I honestly like that camera, but there is one thing that I don't like, and I will say now so that you will not skip to the end of the video to understand what this con is about, okay? And that is the price, because in Italy only the body of the camera will be 1,500. No, sorry, what I'm talking about. Okay, so the camera will cost 15.99, okay, body only, and then you will have the kit with the 23mm f2.8. Now I have a particular point of view, so you need to understand my position in this matter about this topic, because not everyone thinks about me and everybody has its own thoughts, but honestly I am not sure about this camera, not for everybody but for myself, okay? So firstly, what changes between the XE5 and the XE4? What is improved? Obviously the sensor of 40 megapixels, okay, with the processor X-Trans 5 sensor and the HR processor, that thing, okay? Then you have 6K not open gate, 6K, you have 4K HQ, 4K 60 cropped, okay, 10-bit photo 2, 10-bit photo 0, okay. These things are okay. I honestly wouldn't use these because, for example, now I'm shooting on the X-T30 Mark II, which has 8-bit photo 2, and that's okay. Okay, guys, that's something that we can accept. Then I have the the Peggear 10mm f5.6 here, and that's a manual focus lens, and very not very, but it's dark, it's not a bright low aperture lens, okay? So I'm happy with this combo. I don't feel the need of something else other than the TT Artisan 23mm f1.4 manual focused lens, black version, okay, to pair with this XT30 Mark II and to keep the aesthetics very high. So why am I talking about this? To explain my thoughts about the camera, okay? The XE5 is a reproposition of the XT5 and XT50, something of the XH2, okay? So we have the XM5, XS20, XT50, XT5, XH2, XH2S. Then we have the X-Half. Then we have the X Pro 3, which will be updated next year with the X Pro 5, okay? So the XE4 had the articulating screen, no, the flip up screen. You can flip up, okay, like this, like in the old Sony cameras. A6400, for example, has that kind of screen, okay? So what else? The XE5 gets back the switch between manual focus and autofocus and continuous and single focus mode, and that's okay. But the most interesting thing is the new simulation dial, which is positioned on the top, not on the top, on the front, on the rear of the camera, but up the screen. So you have this small dial that you can spin, and it's behind the camera, so it doesn't it doesn't take the space on the top left, as for example the one on the XE5 or on the XM5. So it's nice, it's elegant, it's useful. The thing which is not useful, for example, is the lever for the crop mode. Okay, that's interesting, but I don't know my feelings about that part of the camera yet, because I didn't try the camera. I have never had it in my hands. Okay, so the XE5 honestly is nice, and its main feature is the screen. People don't like it, but the XE4 had that screen, and I hoped it would get that screen, and now it has the same screen. I'm not talking about the resolution, I'm talking about the side. It doesn't open to the side like this, or it doesn't tilt like the one here on the X-T30 Mark II, but it flips up, like for example the one on the Insta360 Ace Pro. Okay. So who can buy this camera? Who is interested in this camera? Its build quality has been upgraded, and now it's premium, and it's very nice. It's, I think, at the same level of the XT5, and even something more than XT50. So now it's strange because it doesn't have the flash, but it has the rangefinder style, the viewfinder, and it has something special in the viewfinder. You can see some tricks and tweaks, you know, gimmicks, something really nice for making the experience as retro as possible without having the optical viewfinder, which is present on the X Half or in the X Pro or in the X106. Then you have the 23mm f2.8 pancake lens with the 39mm filter diameter, and that's nice. But I honestly wouldn't spend that money for that lens. I understand that you want to keep the size down, and that's why I have this small, almost pancake lens, the 10mm from Puggear, the 10mm f5.6 on the X-T30 Mark II to keep it compact. Okay, but I don't justify the price. I understand it has autofocus, it needs to resolve the 40 megapixel sensor, and furthermore it has some new, you know, autofocus by line, by wire. I'm not an engineer, I don't always understand this terminology. Okay, so what else? What else can I say? The XE5 is nice in the silver and the black version. They didn't make the charcoal version, and I was hoping to see the charcoal like in the X Half. Okay, but they didn't. It's produced in China. They presented the camera in Shanghai on the 12th of June, and I was really interested. Many YouTubers that I follow already have shown their opinions, and they proved the capabilities of this camera. But would I spend 1,599 euros for body only? No, because I already have the X-T30 Mark II. Okay, I didn't mention it has IBIS now, the XE5, and that's important. But it's the same IBIS, I think, present on the XT50, which is not really that great because you need to remember the readout speed of the camera with the sensor of 40 megapixel, which is difficult to be read at the same time. Okay, the camera is a bit slow. Then the bitrate is only 200 megabits per second. That's important for me because not the resolution, not 8K, 12K, but the important thing is the bitrate, which allows the files to contain more data inside and to have a better quality. For example, now the XE5 Mark II has 200 megabit per second, so I already have that quality, and I shoot only in 4K 24 frames per second, okay? So I don't need 4K 60, and I honestly don't need 6K. That's all. Okay, guys, and I can use UHS 1 cards. I don't need UHS 2, which are more expensive. All of these factors have to be considered before the purchase of a camera, okay? Honestly, if I had to buy something now, I would like to have a Lumix S5 2X. Even if it doesn't have the greatest autofocus, it's decent and it has a great IBIS, okay? So what else? The XE5 is nice and it's really cool, okay? It reminds me a bit about the Sony cameras, the A6400 and 6700 and so on. But at the same time, what I want to say is that, oh my god, it doesn't meet my needs, okay? Because if I had the opportunity, because I had the opportunity last year to buy a Fuji camera, okay? I had the Sony ZV-10, then I sold it, then I bought the Sony ZV-1F, which had something I needed. It was really portable, okay? Then I bought the Fujifilm XE5 Mark II, which is this one, and with the kit lens, the 15-45. Then I bought this per gear lens, the 10mm, and then I bought the 7 Artisans manual focus lens 35mm f1.2 Mark II version 2, okay? So I need 2 more lenses, one from TT Artisan and one again from Fujifilm, the zoom, the telephoto, and then my collection would be over. I don't need to spend more than 250 euros because the lenses that I'm going to buy, the last 2, are not much expensive, okay? They are affordable for a PSC, okay? That's nice. So I wanted the new 2 film simulations, the Real Ace and the Nostalgic Neg, and I'm not obsessed with these, but it would have been nice to have them, okay? So I had the choice. Should I buy the XS20? Should I have bought the XS20, the XT30 Mark II, XM5? And I was really, I was struggling because I was tempted to buy the XM5, but the absence of the flash and of the viewfinder, made me not to buy that camera. It pushed me far away from that choice, okay? And I also wanted this retro-looking vintage camera, which is the XT30 Mark II, and I wanted to experiment with the tilt screen, okay? Because I wanted to. Now I cannot see myself because I don't know if I'm correctly in frame because I don't have an external monitor. I have the external mic here and the tripod, but I don't have a way to see myself in the screen of the camera, okay? On the screen of the camera. So honestly, the XM5 would have been a great choice if it had IBIS in the sensor, not electronic, I'm talking about IBIS in the sensor. It had the right amount of megapixels for APS-C, 26 megapixels is enough. I honestly don't need more because then noise performance on higher ISOs would have been not great, and I need high ISO performance. Now I'm at ISO 6400, okay, because this lens is dark and I need to compensate because I am indoor and I don't have much light here because I'm just using the natural light which is there, on the window behind the camera right now. What else can I say? Nothing else, because that's all. Because honestly, there's nothing else to say, because XE5 is nice if you don't have a Fujifilm camera. Okay, if you really love the Fujifilm rangefinder style camera, you need the viewfinder, you need 40 megapixel because you are cropping, or because no, you don't get the 8K, so it doesn't matter. But you need to crop the photos, okay? So you need 40 megapixels, or you want the flip up screen, because this is the only camera in the lineup which has this kind of screen. And what else? Nothing else. That's the thing. These are the particularities of the XE5. Before the release, I was not sure about my expectations about the camera, because they as I was thinking and speculating, it is just a kind of XT50, not refurbished, repacked. Okay, they took the sensor and the processor of XT50 in the XE4 body, upgrading it and making it more interesting, luckily, because honestly that was the case, and nothing else. That's all. So it's not a surprise, okay? It's not like when Sony put the AI chip with the new features in the A7R5s, AVE1, A7C Mark II, and then A6700. Okay, that was really surprising. A6700 is a great rangefinder camera, and honestly, if I will have the chance, not now, but maybe when it will get under $1,000 new or used, I will buy it, because it's really interesting, and I honestly would like to have that kind of camera. Okay, but if I had the money to spend, I wouldn't buy the XE5, because honestly, if I want the retro inspiring look and also the film simulations, then I would use this XT30 Mark II. But in the case that I didn't have a Fuji camera, then I would have been not interested in XT50, and I explained previously on the channel why. And XT5 is big, and I don't want big cameras to pair with these small lenses. So the XM5, if it had IBIS, it would have been perfect. XS20 honestly was some kind, I perceived it like some kind of betrayal of Fuji ideals, because Fujifilm, as I mentioned previously, it is known, and it aims to provide a vintage retro experience. It aims to give you some kind of inspiration, so that you can go out and shoot and make every moment interesting and memorable. So honestly, making XS20 with the vlog mode and with the other gimmicks of the product showcase and the defocus, the things that I have on the Sony ZV-E10 but applied on the Fuji camera, I honestly perceive it as something like, oh, now you don't need to take Sony because we have also these things. The problem is that they are not working properly. I understand. I have seen many people are testing them on YouTube, and they are not working as on Sony or on Canon. Okay, and also if you take the Fuji camera, you don't need these kind of features: defocus, product showcase, vlog, and blah 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 blah. Okay, because you take a Fuji camera to see the world like a poet, like an artist. So you're no longer the vlogger, the content creator. You are an artist. You get to inspire others and being inspired by others. Okay, so you are the example of I am now with the Fujifilm X-T30 Mark II. I went in France. I went to France in April, and whenever I took this camera with the tripod and the mic and this lens out, all the other lenses of Fuji that are available in my bag, I felt that something changed in me, and I became more aware about the limits of the camera. I made every shoot something memorable. it's not only about the extrans sensors, but also not only about film simulations, but also about your intentions and your feelings. Because when I take the Fuji camera out, honestly, it's not like when I take out the Sony, okay? Because I only have these two brands, Sony and Fuji, that's why I'm comparing them, but they are opposites, so it's nice to compare them. And it's necessary to understand the Fuji XE5, okay? So, getting back to the main topic of the video, without making it longer and longer again, okay? And tell me in the comments what you think about it, if I'm wrong, because I could be possibly wrong. But when they launched the XS20, I was disgusted, okay? And I didn't buy it. I liked the idea of the XS10, and I was going to buy the XS10, but then I didn't, because I was really in hope to buy this retro looking camera, and the XS10 doesn't have all the controls that the XT30 Mark II has, and also the XE5 has the controls. Okay, XE5 has the same controls of the XT30 Mark II or XT50. They are positioned differently, but they have the same controls. XE5 has also the film simulation dial, which is not available here, but it's not very necessary, because I click the FN button on the top right of the camera, and then with the rear dial I spin, okay, and I choose the film simulation, so it's not very different. It's like already having a film simulation dial, so they are just gimmicks, okay? You need to understand, you need to focus on what you are doing right now, not on the camera, but on your intentions. So I am filming on Fuji here, and I'm certain that I'm sure about the look, which will turn out vintage and inspiring and interesting, even if it's just my face here, my ugly face in this anonymous place, which is the bedroom. It's not even my bedroom. And if I shoot the same thing in the same place with Sony ZV-E10, which I bought again this year on January, okay? Because I'm crazy. So if I shoot the same thing on Sony, it has a clinical, sharp and boring look, okay, like a camcorder style, not cinematic. This camera has film look, not only film simulations, but the look of the video, the image quality, the I don't know how to say, you can feel when you look at the video that it's like a piece of art, even if I'm talking, but when I went to France 2 months ago, it was like I was shooting a documentary, okay? It was like I was freezing moments in time and making them memorable. And if sometimes I get back to these photos or videos, I always look at them with interest. They are not boring. So if you want to buy the XE5, then it's not like the A6700 of Sony, because they are very different. The A6700 would be really nice for content creation, like in this moment, if I had the A6700, maybe not on my hand with the tripod, but on the table, it would be really useful. For example, if I had to make some kind of lessons, tutorials, these kind of videos, then it would be really nice to have that kind of look of A6700, ZV-E10 I use for this kind of purposes, when I have to make lessons for students or other things that I do, okay? The Fuji camera instead is very useful for taking moments and making them yours, okay? So if you buy the XE5, you have the advantage of the flip-up screen and you can see yourself, but it would be covered by the mic. If I had now the flip-up screen on the XT30 Mark II, it would have been covered by the mic, which is on the on the cold shoe, hot shoe, I don't remember, of the camera. Okay, guys, that's the truth. What else? honestly the price is too much, because if I can have, I think, 80% of what I get of the XE5 in the XM5, okay, because the two most film simulations, 6K, 4K 60, all of this is available in the XM5. Only the build quality and the position of the buttons, the size, obviously, the viewfinder, the lack of the viewfinder, the screen is another type of screen, that's the the flip out screen, like the Sony ZV-E10 and ZV-1F and the XS20, okay? But it doesn't have IBIS, but XE5 has IBIS, so every camera has its own strengths and weakness, okay? I'm tired of speaking, and now it's your turn to reply me in the comments and make me understand if this speech is meaningful. Okay, if honestly you share the same view about the XE5, so it's nice, but not necessary. And I don't know how to say, you don't need 40 megapixels. That's the assumption. Okay, you need to start from that point. For APS-C you don't need 40 megapixels, is too much, okay? Because on Fuji, on Sony, on Canon, on Nikon, you can say whatever you want, but on Fuji you don't want all of that detail, because you want something like haze, mist, I also add mist filters on my lenses. Here I can't, because this lens doesn't have the filter thread, but on my other lenses I always apply filters, mist filters, black mist, white mist, soft mist, and blah 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 blah, because they are making the atmosphere mysterious, romantic, and ethereal. So they are necessary to build the atmosphere, okay guys? XE5 would have been really useful. Yeah. Then, if the question is, if XE5 costed the same price of the XE4, okay, 800, I think 899 or 800, I don't remember, 849 euros probably. So, if you had this money to spend on interchangeable lenses, APS-C camera, okay, now you have the Canon R50V, you have the Nikon Z50 Mark II, the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II, the Sony A6700, the Canon R100, the Canon R10, the Canon R7, the Canon R50, okay? And you have also the Fuji XM5, and then you have the XE5, the XE50, the XT5, okay? Sony XT700, Nikon Z30, okay, ZFC. You have many choices. Why would you buy the XE5? You need rangefinder style camera. You need the flip up screen. You need 40 megapixels because you are obsessed with these megapixels. Not me, but maybe you are. You need also the what can I say? The you need the oh my god. What else? The film simulation dial, the small dial, new one. You want to touch it, you not want to spin it, you want the experience. Okay, you don't want the dial which is on the XT50 and on the XM5, the film simulation. You want the new one which is on the XE5, and you need to have this because it's the idea of trying new experiences and having fun, which is behind Fujifilm's lineup. Okay, what else? I don't have other motivations. So honestly, I speak about myself, if I had 1,599 euros, body only, I would buy Sony's A6700, and that's me, okay? It has a great set of features, it has meaning, okay? XE5 is beautiful. It's beautiful to take on the shelf, to leave on the shelf. It's beautiful to show to other people. It's inspiring when you're using it. But, honestly, I think it's too much. 1,599 euros is too much for that camera, and I would not buy it. even if it costed 849 euros, okay, because I need another camera, and I need one with IBIS, and I need one with with the flip out screen, flip up or flip out. I prefer flip out screen. Okay, I need something like that. And